Hello, my name is Israel Alaure. Some call me Dr. Alaure. Some call me Israel. Some even call me Pastor Alaure. And some call me by my Nigerian name, Dele Olaore. And ironically, some call me Bishop. Yes, because in some circles, one thing to other people depending on the level of the relationship. So you can decide which one you want to choose out of those names. But today, I just want to spend some time talking to you about work-life balance. Is it possible? Is it achievable? And another framework that has been discovered from Ernest and Young, Singapore, is work-life integration. Rather than say work-life balance, you can say work-life integration. How do you integrate your life with your work? Because both are connected. Because, truth be told, if we don't have life, we can't do work because it is the life that we have that gives us the capacity to do any kind of work. And so I was thinking about this and I was thinking about juggling. I learned how to juggle a while back. And I juggle some from time to time when I'm able to toss a ball in the air. You know, you toss things in the air, but how do you juggle without dropping the ball? How do you juggle without dropping the ball? And that is what work-life balance is all about. How do you keep your professional flow going and also keep your life going, especially when you look at your health as one of those balls that you have to juggle. You look at work, as we've said earlier. You look at family life. We look at your relatives. I put some notes down for myself. Parents, siblings, your spouse, if you are married, and kids, if you have children, and then there's the dimension of movement, transportation, back and work, back and forth from work, commuting. How do you impute that? How many hours is going into that, and how does that impact your well-being? And then we're talking about worship or your spiritual health, that dimension of your life, prayer, meditation. And then you have recreation. What do you do in your recreation? And then you have social networks and social connections. And now we have social media. It's big. How much time are you spending on social media trying to stay in touch with the rest of the world? So all these elements, come to play when you talk about work and life balance. But the question is, why is that so important? Why is it so important to have a work and life balance? And my simple answer is there are consequences. Imagine that you got a car and someone gave you the car to do business, to either do Uber or Bolt or, name it, or Lyft, whatever you're doing with it, taxi, you're doing business with it. But this car, you don't change the oil. And when the oil runs low, you don't add oil to it. And when the tires get bald, you don't change them. Or when the tires get flat, you don't change the tire. Or when someone runs into you, you don't fix it. After a while, what's going to happen to that car? It's just going to die. The car will die on you because it is not taken care of. You're not maintaining the car. The car will die on you. So there are consequences for lack of work and life balance. That is to say that when you prioritize one area of your life, like in this case, somebody wants to make money from having a car and you're always out there, you're just putting fuel in the car so you can go and make money, but you're not doing anything else to maintain the car. And the car just grinds to a halt and it's done. Okay. That is one example because the consequence of not taking priority, putting the priorities where they belong, is that something is going to go amiss. Something is going to go out of balance. That's where the issue of balance comes in. So, how do we maintain that balance? Because the consequences that come from not maintaining the balances include burnout, especially if you're working as a professional and you don't have balance. Burnout is inevitable. And then there's health challenges. Stress related illnesses can begin to impact the person's life. High blood pressure, then heart disease. Then there is diabetes that probably can be induced because of insulin resistance, because of stress, chronic stress. And then there are so many other things, irritability, and there is depression, anxiety, and the list goes on. But the most important thing here is that if you don't take care of this body, if you don't take care of your mind, from where you get the energy, the vitality to be able to do the work you do, something has got to give. Something will break down. And you don't want your tool to break down because then you will not be able to do the work that you're trying to do. And I know that this may be because people want to make the maximum money. I know people who do two jobs. I heard the story of a nurse who was doing two jobs at two nursing homes and 12-hour shifts here, then just drive over to the next one and start the next 12-hour shift, and then go home, sleep, and then go and start another one. And was doing that back and forth until one day she got to the nursing home she was about to work, put her bag down, put her head on the table to sleep a little bit. And the next, they tried to wake her up. She didn't wake up because the body just gave out. The body said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That's an extreme case. The other one that I know is someone who had a stroke on the job, had a stroke. Young, middle-aged person went to work and had a stroke on the job because the mind and the body were just out of sync. And they said, you know what, I'm done. So those are extreme consequences that can come. But another extreme consequence is the impact on marriage, impact on family. So if I'm working too much and I don't have time for my spouse, it gets to a time when they say, you know what, I think you're married to your job, or you think you're married to the money you're making, so you don't have time for me. Let me go find someone else. And that happens a lot. So people lose their marriages, end up in a divorce because they are sold out to making money. But sometimes it might not just be about making money. It might be about survival, just survival, hustle, 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 But the flip side of the hustle is that some people want to make a name for themselves. They want to get ahead in the world, have the biggest toys and best girls or the best guys, just to look good and to be, well thought of. I don't know what category you may fall into, but all these are possibilities of what one may be finding themselves in, especially when you don't have balance. And some of the things that I have come to find out is that is because there's pressure, pressure to perform. I remember one of the young people that I mentor reached out to me that he was not feeling well. And he told me the kind of grueling time that he has to do his work, that is the pressure of work. He was working for one of the big five companies in the area of, consulting. And he has one project to the next project. Then I asked him, I said, do you play? He said, sir, what did you say? I said, do you play? He said, play or pray? I said, no, play. Play, play. Do you play? I said, no, I don't have time to play. I said, that's what's going on. you are burning the candle on both ends. You don't have time for your brain to recharge. Hence, you are burnout and you are exhausted and you don't want to take time off because you want to prove to your team that you are good and you can keep up. And that's what is happening to many people. You earn big money, but you have no time to play, no time to recharge, no time to rejuvenate and be able to come back and be innovative and be creative because there's no recreation, no recreation. So that's the first thing. The first remedy to work-life balance is to find a space for recreation. And recreation, we're talking about exercise. We're talking about looking for time to walk or jog. We're talking about time to play. We're talking about time for leisure. We're talking about for time out in nature, outdoors. We're talking about time for reading. Just read something that refreshes your mind, sunlight, some time with meditation, time to pray and just calm the mind down. Those examples that I just gave are some ways of recharging or recreating the mind. We're talking about social connections, hanging out with friends, doing some things that are not necessarily in the line of work is another way of recreation. So that is one element that we need to put in when we're talking about how to recharge. And then we know also that beyond recreation is the role of rest. Rest. Rest here, we're talking about sleep. The Bible in the book of Psalms 127, verse 2, it says, it's in vain that you wake up early and stay up late, hustling, because you are burning your body out. And God, the one who made you, has made you and given you his beloved rest or sleep. So when you don't sleep, you deprive the body of so many benefits. When you don't sleep and you think you can, hustle a bit more, you sleep late, you wake up early, and then you get like 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, and you think you can make it happen on that, or you are dosing yourself up on, energy drinks and things that will keep you awake. You are doing your body and your mind a disservice. So I've talked about recreation. Now I'm talking about rest. Rest by way of sleep. Sleep boosts the mood. When you get good sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep as an adult, or even 8 to 9 hours of sleep as an adult, it boosts your mood. You're less irritable. You don't have angry outbursts like you would have had. Then it cleans and sharpens your brain. When you sleep, your brain is able to reset. Then it helps your immune system. It boosts your immune system, increases your immune system to be able to fight off disease and inflammation and attacks, infections that can come upon you. And then it's when you sleep, your body can regulate your insulin and blood sugar so that the blood sugar is lowered, and then it gives you a healthier heart. When you sleep, the heart rhythm, especially when you get into REM sleep, your heart rhythm becomes regulated so that your heart is stronger. And then it fights off infection, like I said, germs, and then it gives you a fresh perspective to life. And, you are able to wake up with a brighter attitude and rebuilding your cells, reset your brain, cleaning out your blood. All this happens when you sleep. So sleep is very, very critical to your mental health and well-being. Your mental health and well-being are facilitated and strengthened when you sleep. And that is what the Bible says, that he gives his beloved sleep. So God's desire is for you to sleep. And for those of us who also know there's a provision in the Bible for a day of rest. You know, the Sabbath is another opportunity for you to shut down everything and zoom in on yourself and God and rest. That takes me to the next thing that we need to talk about. How much time are you giving to God in terms of your worship and your meditation and your vertical connection with God? Because that is how you know what your source is. You know, sometimes the hustle we have is seen as the source of our well-being, source of our wealth, source of our success. You know, how much can I hustle? But when you have a direct access to God where you can get wisdom from Him in prayer, in the study of the Word, and other ways of rejuvenating your spirit, then you know that your source is God and you prioritize God in that equation. And then talking further, you see that we have to maximize our social connections. Social connections, you know, that is, so there's the vertical angle, but there's the horizontal angle in the equation. Just a minute here.